Aloha and welcome everybody to this week's video, in which I will have the great honors to present to you what's possibly the most anticipated skate 2020. So stay tuned. Alright, thank you for tuning in for this week's video again. Today we're going to talk about the Demskate 909 and how I got to be one of the first non-team riders to actually get his hands on the skate. Everything started in February. I was lucky enough to came along the booth of Demskate at the Winterclash, and it was at the right time, at the right spot. So I got my hands from John Julio himself onto this skate, and good times. That was the greatest honor. Thank you very much, John. Should you watch this, thank you. So as a result of this, I'm pretty much monopolizing the long-term reviews for this skate for the moment, of which I'm really grateful. Let's start out talking about what the Demskate 909 actually is. It's just a more evolved version of the Demskate 908. Which does look very similar, which I really like, as they are really staying true to their assets and to their origins. However, there are a lot of improvements, which we're going to talk about in the following. So what's new about the skate? Starting out with the actual cuffs, and what's probably the biggest feature of the skate. The cuff actually is adjustable. It has two different heights. A lower mode, which is comparable to for example, to the Rossi's M12, the low cuff version. And of course the higher mode, which is basically the same height as the previous version. So why do we need that? What does it give to us? The higher version gives more support to the upper leg. So in case you're into that, and I am one of these people that really like to have a tight feeling around their feet, which gives me the impression of having more control, the illusion. And of course, there are also people that like to have their skates lower, which makes them bend into tricks easier. In case you're having trouble bending into your tricks, maybe due to a higher frame, or maybe you're new into the sport, or maybe you're just not as flexy, then you will require a lower cuff, and it will help. So, of course, it will also give you a more forward flex if you're at the higher mode, and obviously less, because there's less space up front when you have the cuffs lower. As we are already talking about the cuffs, let's talk about the cuff bolts for a little bit. As you can see, they look a little bit different than the usual cuff bolts in comparison. So what we have here is a very, very ingenious invention. The cuff bolts have little washers underneath them, which prevents them from unscrewing while squeezing and unsqueezing, which is a very common problem. Every blader basically knows that doesn't have rivets as cuff bolts. Eventually they unscrew and you lose them, and that's the end of your session. So really good invention. Thank you very much, Carl Sola, the industrial designer of the skate. Really, really good. Love it. So when comparing the cuffs of the 908 and the 909, you will see that the 909 has a lot less material on the sides of the cuff, which makes it flex easier. So you will not have as many pressure points on the sides, which will eventually make the liners wear out on the insides. So in case you have decided for the Demskate liners, of course, and not the Intuition liner, which I unfortunately couldn't get my hands on, as there were none of them at the Winterclash at the time, and they're sold out already. But will of course I would try my hardest to get them on the show as well. Moving on to the next part, the lacing system, you will see that the overall design of the 908 has basically been taken over into the 909 in a more improved and more refined version. Many of you will miss, of course, these little almost tentacle-like loopholes. However, Kyle Sola found an even better way to make sure your feet are well embraced by your skate by dividing the way you lace your foot into two different sections. The lower foot section and the upper, more cuff section, which actually makes your upper foot more connected to the cuff than to the lower foot, which enables the skate to flex at a whole, which is really smart. I very much like the way the skate feels when lacing it tight. Not only the overall shell has changed, but also if you ordered the non-Intuition liner version, the actual liner has changed as well. You will realize that the tongue has been equipped with a harder material, which does not provide as much grip as the old tongue, due to which the front part of the tongue tends to slide down all the way onto your toes and creates pressure at a certain time, which is an easy fix by just, if you still have them, using your old liners from the 908s or getting third-party liners. Best version, of course, is the Intuition liner, which is basically the best liner money can buy, which comes at its price, of course. Talking about ergonomics, I've been talking to Miguel Ramos at the Winterclash before I bought this skate, and I've been just fanboying all along the whole Winterclash in anticipation of the skate, obviously. And so I asked him, what's the biggest difference between the 909 and the 908? And he said, it's not even just all those new features or the way they look. No, it's actually your foot positioning when comparing to where your foot sits above the frame. You will realize that most blades on the market tend to turn a little bit outside. They tweak a little bit. And that is something that the 909 just doesn't do as much due to the foot positioning. I've come to realize that the frame sits a slight little bit more in the exact middle of the skate, so your center of your weight is basically right on top of your wheels. And you will feel that. You will feel a lot more control. And I really love that. And of course that gives a lot more confidence when trying hard tricks. So to summarize a little bit, the 909 has features no other skate on the market currently has. You get more confidence when riding them due to the centered weight placement. You have adjustability. You can order them with the Intuition liner in a collaboration. You can support John Julio and his all rollerblading owned rollerblade brand. And they look good, especially the black version. I really like them. They really have created something amazing. And they last. Since February already, and I wear down skates pretty quickly as I skate a lot. So I would say that's it for today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Tell me your experience with the Demskate 909, and if you have something you would add, let the others know in the comment, and me too, please. And I would say I see you in the next video. Bye.
My boss is really